deteriorating. If you're slowly deteriorating, you're slowly
Yeah.
dying. So I was dying quicker than I should have. But I wanted to get out of that. And that's why I resorted to that. And then after that, he said, take away all the foods that cause inflammation, stop exercise for a few days so you reduce the inflammation, and go about your day. And I kid you not, the next day I turned and I remember I was like, oh my God, I don't have pain. And the pain would go instantly. Second day, no pain. Third day, no pain. I was like, let me try go to the gym 1 or 2 days. And what I found during this testing period is, I'm going to summarize it. Number one, heavy lifting to 1 rep max has caused the most amount of inflammation. And the sprinting, which required my maximum nervous system, also caused the most amount of pain. And jumping. So those are the 3 things I couldn't really do. So then I spent many years. What I did essentially was gradually build up and create a program that had both low level plyometrics to begin with, and essentially build up to the point where I could sprint again, I could run again, jump again, and be able to play basketball of the full season, pain-free, injury-free, without this pain. So that's how I built Ortega Performance, based off that. And then I built my business. That's what Ortega Performance is based on, is performing at a high level, but having longevity at the core focus of everything that we do.
Wow. See, now, what? Because you said,
God is great.
I'm telling you, and just even on that, like, why did you say? Because a lot of people, the minute if they hear it from their friends to say, look, I think you should, put it away, they'll say, no, that's fine, I'm going to continue. When people hear it from a quote unquote authority figure or a higher authority figure like a doctor, usually they submit to that authority and be like, okay, if the doctor's saying it, then maybe I should really step away from sport. Why was your experience the opposite? Why was you like, okay, doctor, I hear you, but I'm gonna do my own research and find out for myself if what you're saying is true or not?
Because it's a great question. And I actually have a lot of clients that come to me say, the doctor said X, Y, Z. And so what I've been doing now is like, I'm really sorry to admit that your doctor is not right. And the reason is for that is because there are other methods that you're just unfamiliar. So knowledge, number one, can be the difference of you being able to move forward in life or not. What's wrong with having more knowledge than the one person that's told you what to do? I'm also a believer in God, right? So for me, the only person that I'll ever submit to is God. So at the end of the day, as a doctor, if you start seeing people, like, instead of people praise a lot of things. People go to concerts like, oh my God, praise to you. I see everyone as equal level. So regardless whether you're a doctor, whether you're the Pope, whatever it is that you are, I will still see you as knowledge, and I will always go back to the truth. What is the truth? The truth is, for me, is in the Bible. And the Bible says that everything that you need, I have created on earth. So for me, natural healing, like natural foods, anything that's not processed, for me, is key to longevity and health. So I go back to the truth. So that, okay, God created me perfectly. And I know that my identity is based on being an athlete. So I was also very secure in my identity in order to go, I know what you're saying, but I know that God has a greater purpose for me. And I wish I could, I don't have a different answer. That is genuinely what I believed in, even though I wasn't even, my relationship with God wasn't like the best as it ever. But I just had that little thing inside, that little voice that you hear, especially if the listeners here are not Christian or anything like that. Little voice inside you, like, try it, do it. It was that little voice. I can't explain it to you. That's what said, I'm like, nah, this is not my future. And what I did was I found something about the leaky gut. So your gut essentially there's a membrane. And when you have an autoimmune disease, you have what we call a leaky gut. So this says you have this barrier, and it just allows certain things to go through. So when you have that inflammation, so what you do is by eating foods that are low in inflammation, that helps the essentially that leaky gut not open so much and let your viruses or other substance to go through. And when you have what he did with the biomimetic, he eliminated the virus. So what I try to do now is to make sure that my inflammation is low, so I don't develop inflammation. And the dairy is the worst for me. And when I have dairy now, I have flare-ups. But now my flares could last a couple hours. I had one the other day, And in one day, I got back to normal. I went sauna. I kept moving, even in pain. People don't understand that movement and food is medicine.
Mm.
And that has been my motto since.